and I've arranged it a little bit. Notice how it's arranged in multiples of 4. So I've started with the lead guitar loop, which I have on for 4 bars. It then goes on to a bigger section, which again is 8 bars. So it's 2 times 4. It then has a little breakdown section just with the drums and that lead guitar part. And then it moves on to just with the bass, the rhythm guitar, so it moves on to without the drums. But again, for 8 bars, a multiple of 4. And that way it will sound good. It will sound like it's arranged properly. Always remember, it's a golden rule, is multiples of 4. It's really important, particularly with dance music. So I've got this now. Let's say I'm happy with this song. Obviously I could add a lot more to it, but just in terms of this tutorial, this will be absolutely fine. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get this screen a little bit bigger. So I would like to sort of hide these Apple loops now. So all I do is I click on the Apple loops button again, and then it goes away. I can see a little bit more. So if I bring you just to the main bit and hit play, hopefully you'll be able to hear that some of the levels of some of the instruments are possibly a bit too loud, a bit too quiet. So let me just hit play. See, what I can hear there is the drums are definitely too quiet. I can barely hear those. And my lead guitar does sound very, very loud. If I just play that again. So I'm going to want to be turning up the drums, I'm going to want to be turning down that lead guitar a bit as well. There's 2 ways to do this. The first way is just on the channels here. As you can see, there's a little dial, and that controls the volume, that controls how loud or quiet something is. So what I can be doing if I want to get the drums louder, just turn the drums up. Now this can be done while you're playing it, so you can get just the right level for it. It's already sounding better with those drums a bit louder now. Just going to take down that lead guitar, that still seems a bit much, and this rhythm guitar I'm going to turn up a bit. Maybe take the bass down a little bit. That sounds better, it sounds a lot more balanced now. The next thing that you want to think about is panning as well. Now panning is here, you see where it says L and R, that stands for left and right. If you're using headphones, this is going to be really useful because you'll be able to hear it coming just out of the left speaker or the left headphone and just coming out of the right speaker or headphone. The basic rule is to aim to give things a different space. So actually bass should always be on 0, so we'll keep bass on 0. But with the guitars, maybe we want one guitar coming maybe plus 18 on the right, and then perhaps this lead guitar, let's just balance it out, plus 18 on the left. Aim for balance, so if something's 20 on one way, put something similar 20 the other way, and aim not to have too many things on the same number, unless it's 0. So I'm going to have my drums on 0, I'm going to have my bass on 0 as well. But then I'm going to pan these guitars slightly to the left and right. Again, when you hear it with headphones, you'll really notice the difference. It will really fill the sonic space. So, if I hit play, so I've got my levels a bit better. I'm probably just going to crank those down a bit. Got my levels a bit better and also got the panning. Now there's another way that you can have a look at this, and this is going to the mixer section on Logic. The way I access the mixer section is I press X. X for mixer. So I'm going to do that on the keyboard now, just push X and up it pops. This is the mixer. See, I can scroll up on the side and this is where I can add in all of my effects. I can do my panning on here. See, that's absolutely fine, that works. And I can also turn up and down any of the channels. Notice how when it moves down here, it's also going to move up here. Same applies with the panning, it's all connected. You can do it either way. I prefer to use the mixer because I just like the way it's laid out. And I like the fact that I can just nip from side to side and I can be turning things up and down without having to really think about it. You might find when you get a bit advanced and we start getting quite a few tracks, you know, you could have 40, 50 tracks maybe, sometimes even more. I've done mixes with over 100 tracks. It if I was to scroll up and down on this, it would be a mission. So I like to do it on the mixer, where I can just go from side to side. What I normally do is I would play the track and I'd just be adjusting as I'm going. So if I just play it, actually I'll play it from the beginning so you can hear the arrangement. So I just want to start with that nice lead guitar before everything kicks in. Probably crank that up a bit. I think that rhythm guitar could probably ham up a bit. And you want to just be adjusting that until you find a nice balance. A really, really good way to find a good balance, and all the professional mix engineers do this, everyone does this, and that is to find a reference track. A reference track can be any track that you like, preferably in the same genre. So I would find any song on YouTube, any song on iTunes, anything like that, that just has a couple of guitars in it and some drums and bass, which obviously is a lot. I would listen to that, and then I would listen to my track. If the drums are louder on the one that I found on YouTube, I'd turn mine up. If the drums were quieter, obviously I'd turn it down. The goal is to get the same levels as professional recordings. If you do that, your track will sound professional. It's a really, really good tip. So what I normally do is, particularly when I'm mixing a track, when I've sorted out all my instruments, I will have YouTube open and I'll be listening to other tracks to reset my ears. So then I know how loud drums should sound and how loud a bass should sound, because it's very, very easy to get lost in your own mix. Very, very easy. So remember, always reset your ears. Listen to another track. Listen to a favourite track. Listen to a track you don't particularly like. Any track. And then go back to yours, and you'll find you'll just be adjusting levels. You'll just go, oh no, the drums were way louder in this other track, so I've got to turn my drums up, or the drums were quieter, so I've got to turn them down. It's a really, really good tip to do.